What if I told you guys that the dreams that you desire, happiness, joy, all of those things that seem so far away, we're just one decision away. You make a decision now, and it can change the rest of your life. Typically, life change comes from external situations, events, things that happen to us that cause us pain, right? Most people are driven by two things. It's pain and pleasure. A lot of times, we want big things. Raise your hand if you have big-ass dreams, right? Do your dreams scare you a little bit? Sometimes is it like, how am I going to get there? Doubt, like you don't know, right? There's no path. There's a path, but you don't know if it's going to happen. So today I'm going to talk about success and happiness in 9 easy steps. Buy my course. Just kidding. So the self-help industry is missing a couple things. There's one magic thing that nobody talks about. And I want to tell you guys how it's helped me. I came from Palmdale, right? Nothing, my family was, working class, nothing crazy. Let's go. Yeah, so I grew up in Palmdale. I never grew up out here. I've always had a dream to come to LA and chase my dreams and whatever, but I never did it. So I grew up, my family is in the construction industry. My mom is an interior designer. I kind of grew up with that path, but I never wanted to do it because you grow up in it, it's emotion, it's drama, you don't want it. So I was on the path to go into the Air Force to be a fighter pilot. After college, I was going to the Air Force Academy. I was studying aeronautical engineering, and obviously that's not what I'm doing right now. Why? Because sometimes life throws you in directions that you don't expect. And sometimes the things that you least expect are exactly the things that you need. So I hope that I can impact you guys today on this presentation, and maybe one thing I say can alter something in your life eventually. I just want to plant a seed. So who here has heard the term before? Success is 90% mindset. Raise your hand. Have you guys heard that before? 80%. 80% mindset? I think it's 90%. I don't know where the term who came from. But if your mindset is wrong, it does not matter the activities that you do, because you're going to do them out of the wrong state. The feeling has to be right. And that's what nobody talks about. They talk about all these big, audacious goals, but they don't talk about the emotion behind it. Every year, you business plan. A lot of times, we don't business plan, and we don't sit down and look at our numbers because we know we're not going to do the work. We know we're not going to hit the number. So we don't want to disappoint ourselves. So we don't do the business plan. We got to have the why right before we do the how. And the how doesn't even matter anyways, because it's not in your control. So, step 1 to your success and happiness. Of course, you have to define first what is success. Who here has a good definition of what success is? Steve, what's success to you?
To me, it's the pursuit of something that you want and believe in.
Right.
It's not the actual action of doing it, but it's the actual doing of.
Okay. That's perfect. Yeah. David, what's yours? Hold on, you're cheating. Jasmine, what's success to you? What does that look like?
Success?
Yeah.
Oh, no, yeah, I think it's like being able to set a goal and just being able to achieve it and then just elevating. So that the more you grow, the more you feel like on top of the world.
So it's hitting things, feeling good, doing more.
And not just necessarily necessarily with work only, but in relationships as well, like with your, whether you overcome like with family members, friends, work, just anything in every aspect of your life, even health.
Can I add to that? And you guys have it. I think there's 4 keys to being successful, and it's also being happy in life. And we've talked about this multiple times. Your number 1 thing is your health. Other thing is wealth. The third is relationships with the people you care about. And then the 4th is your contribution. What are you giving to the people?
Like that.
100%.
That's big.
So it's wealth, health, relationships, and then your contribution.
Yep.
So it's being successful is where are you at those stages? Are you actually doing it? How long have you been doing? And that will scale your percentage of success. But you need each of those pillars to be successful, because you can have your health, but if you don't have your wealth, you can't share it with the people you have relationships with. If you have your wealth, but you don't have the relationships, there's no one to share that wealth and be happy about it with.
100% right. So you have your wealth, your health, your relationships, and your contribution, right? And there's a baseline.
Can I have one more thing? Sorry, I'm really big on this stuff too. You want me to stand up? Talk with
Yeah, come.
I'm joking. That's why whenever I do my business plan, I also look at what are my plans, not only for my wealth, my business, because people only plan for their wealth. What are my plans for all these other categories? I go on my Google Calendar and I put, what am I going to do for the people I care about? First, let me identify them. Are there coworkers? Is it family members? Is it friends? Then I go into what am I going to be doing specifically, and then I schedule it on my calendar. For my health, what am I going to be doing? For my contribution, one of my contributions was to start that charity fundraiser that I'm working on. When am I going to do it by? So then we put identify, then we put timelines behind them too. So it's not only plans for wealth, it's plans for all of those.
That's right. If it's not in your calendar, it doesn't exist. If you don't have a plan, it doesn't get done. It's a someday goal, or is it an action and activity, right? So this is the life, I don't know what you call a fourplex, life fourplex, right? Every area in your life impacts the next area. If your health is off, you're not going to be as productive at work to earn your income. And if your income is off, you're going to be fighting in your relationships. 80% of divorces are coming from finances and stress, right? So when you're not aligned in that, then it's going to impact what you can contribute to your society, to your people, when you're not in a state of abundance. And that's where people get wrong. This is a natural progression one at a time. You have to start with your health, because without your health, you have nothing. You can't work, you can't give, you can't focus on you. So you guys know, like when you're in an airplane and the plane's going down, and what does the flight attendant tell you when you have your kid here and you have 2 masks? Who do you put the mask on first? Put your mask first. So we need to be focused on us first. I know it sounds selfish, but yes, you have to be selfish. Because if you're not pouring into yourself, you cannot pour into others. You cannot pour into a cup, as the Bible says, that when thy cup runneth over, you can't pour out of a cup that's half full. You have to give from abundance, right? So this is your center here of your life. When one of those areas are off and out of calibration, it's going to affect everything. This is the chief aim. So how many of you guys have heard of Napoleon Hill? Everybody, right? That's the GOAT. So first thing to defining your success and happiness is defining your dream. What do I want? What do I want? And a lot of times coming into business or into life, a lot of us don't know what we want. You think you know what you want because of this looks good or social media, but what do you really want? Who are you? Right? It doesn't have to be being wealthy and crazy rich. It can be being an amazing stylist, the best in the world, right? But we're so busy comparing ourselves to what we think success should be and what it is to us. Success is a progressive realization to a worthy goal, our worthy goal. It doesn't matter. And as long as you're on that path, you're successful. So when you define your dream, I want to read this quote by Napoleon Hill. Whatever a man's mind can conceive and convince itself to believe and develop a burning desire for its attainment, he can achieve. The magic word is the burning desire and belief. Without those two, you're not going to do shit. If you don't believe that you can hit your goal, you're not going to do it. If you don't have a burning desire, you have to be obsessed. You have to be absolutely obsessed about what you want. Do you think Walt Disney built what he wanted because if he was interested in it or he was absolutely committed? You have to be absolutely committed to your goals. So I used a couple bullet points here on some strategies that a lot of my mentors use, all the successful people use, all the 1%, people in secret societies, people. This is the sauce. So the first thing is your emotional guidance system. I'm going to explain about that later. Pain and pleasure, we already went over that. How do you guys define what you want? How do you define what you want? You have to go through an event that shows you exactly what you don't want. You have to go through pain and adversity so you know exactly what you don't want. So when you go through being poor, growing up as a kid, seeing your parents fighting over money, seeing your mom depressed, like for me, right? Just seeing all this adversity growing up, that's it, period. I'm not going to have this for my family. I want wealth. I don't want to ever have this issue, right? So these type of things come from your lowest points. But those lowest points, how do you go to the thing? All right, cool. So you have event, right? You start here. You're at the bottom. But from that bottom sparks a rocket of desire and your dream. But you have to hit that rock bottom first and use that rock bottom. If you're in a place where you're pissed off, angry, depressed, that's negative emotion. That negative emotion is fuel for your dreams and desires. So how do you refine what you want? Know exactly what you don't want and put together a plan of exactly what you do want. Does that make sense?
Is it possible to actually achieve your goal without hitting rock bottom?
Absolutely. People do it all the time. But it's not as powerful as utilizing the negative energy. You don't have to do it. You know, the hardest change we make is intentional. Like, you know, you're not in bad shape, but you want to be at 6% body fat and compete on a show, right? There's not like a terrible pain point there, right? That's the hardest. Like for me, I want to be at 8% body fat, That's a lot harder to go from being pretty good to that than from being obese to fit. Because a lot of times people get they'll look at themselves in the mirror and be absolutely disgusted. And from then on, they decide, that's it, period. I'm not going to be this way anymore. And it's easy from there. So yeah, you can do it. It's just, what's the cause? The cause and effect of the desire you have. So using a chief aim in summits. This is what Napoleon Hill talks about with Think and Grow Rich principles. Do you guys know what the chief aim is? Big, let's say it's $1 million, right? And you have $1,000. let's say you have $1,000, right, in your account. You have absolutely no idea how you're going to get there, right? The gap is so big. It's like, I can't believe, I want it, but I don't believe it, right? You don't have to believe your huge dream. So that's why you have a chief aim. And a chief aim are goals that you can accomplish, you can hit them, 100%, 6 to 12 months. 6 to 12 months goals that you can absolutely hit and you know you can beat them. Because once you beat them, it creates a positive momentum. Because that momentum cycle builds and builds and builds. You know what? I'm at 1,000. Let's 6 months from now, let's be at 5,000. I know I can do that. I know absolutely I can do that. And once you get that, then you set your next chief aim, Because what you're doing is building self-belief.
So like smaller goals.
Smaller, actionable goals that you know you can hit with absolute certainty. Because the problem with all the self-help gurus and coaches, they don't talk about the belief. They say, do this, and you want this, but they don't talk about, do you believe you can do that? They don't. I struggle with this with all my coaches. Well, I'm not hitting it. And you get into this negative cycle of doubt and negativity, and that gets you into analysis paralysis. And then you start looking at other distractions, right? The strangest secret. You guys heard of Earl Nightingale? Go, right? So, focus. I know focus is a pretty broad term, but this is going to be the focus of your desires, focus of your vision, right? What you resist persists. We become what we think about most of the time. Whatever you're obsessed with is what you become. You start to use what's called the reticular activating system. You guys have heard about this, right? The RAS. So if it's in your mind, you want to buy a brand new G63 G-Wagon, AMG, and you have that thing, you're obsessed with it. And all of a sudden, you start to see them all across the roads. You see them all boom, boom, boom everywhere. Now that's all you're thinking about. That's all you're thinking about. And then you get a check, you get the check over here, and then all of a sudden, a year later, you have that car because it's something you're obsessed with. It's something that you just couldn't get out of your mind. It works with manifesting material objects. It can manifest business opportunities, relationships, all of it. But the big thing about your focus is choosing a goal that stimulates you emotionally. You must feel it. I want a mansion on the hills on Encino, looking at this. Like when I wake up in the morning, I visualize exactly what I want every morning. Because when I wake up, a lot of times our programming is screwed up. Society has socially conditioned us to fail. So it's about rewiring your brains. And how do we do that? Every day. It's like hitting the reps in the gym. Every day. You know what? I feel like shit, but I'm going to do this process. You have to have processes for rewiring your brain so you can feel better and do what you know you need to do. Have you guys heard of confirmation bias? So confirmation bias is a belief that's we reinforce the beliefs that we already have. A good example of this is, say, a boy and girl. And the girl has had a lot of bad experiences with boys in her life, right? All guys are created the same. They're manipulative, they're this, they're this, they're this. Why do I keep getting the same thing? Right? That's affirming her bias, right? But it's because she's emitting that vibration of lack, of uncertainty, of untrust. What's going on in the subconscious mind, you manifest in your life because it's what you feel. And not just that, she might even attract situations, events, and circumstances into her life that match that feeling. Car crash, something breaks, I just lost this, right? It's not about this certain situation, but it's the emotion that attracts the things. So how do we switch the confirmation bias? First, you have to become aware of what the belief patterns you have are. Because your beliefs influence your thoughts, which influence your behaviors, right? Choose your focus, you choose your destiny. What do you focus on expands. Whatever you give your attention to, your time to, is going to grow. And if you're focused on what you don't want in your life, you're going to get more of the things that you don't want. So focus on what you do want. So your emotions, especially in an uncertain market and economy, they can be very powerful, right? And in life, your emotions in your relationships, your emotions towards people, how you wake up and how do you feel. What people get wrong is your emotions are your friends. Listen to them. It's your body telling you that there's something wrong. You need to address something. If you feel like in this certain situation, a sense of lack, a sense of depression, like what is it? It's your gut telling you, it's God telling you that you're wrong. You need to realign, right? So your goal always must be to feel good now. Because if you don't feel good, if you're not in a peak state, your decisions are going to be wrong because they're going to be made on a state of lack versus abundance and creation and love and joy and peace and certainty. Or are they going to be made on doubt, insecurity, depression, lack? Like, where is the frame where you're coming from? So that's why it's so important to start every day with the routine to get you in the right state of mind. And all day. Like, I don't even listen to music in my car. Audiobooks, like, I'm sure everybody here is the same way. It's whatever you're focused on. So this has been huge for me. Like in my life, this state of lack, this state of not having, I used to have a terrible relationship with money and hitting goals because I was so focused on the goal. But here's the indicator here. You have the goal here, and you're here. And there's a huge discrepancy, right? From where you are to where you want to be. It's a huge gap. And the more you focus on this gap here, you'll worry about the how. How am I going to do it? When is it going to happen? Am I doing wrong? Is what I'm doing the right thing, right? Doubt. We need to cancel all of this because the how doesn't matter, the when doesn't matter, and the doubt is only going to distract you. Because when is out of your control. You go to a restaurant and you order a hamburger. You tell the waiter, I want this thing medium rare, I want it with this cheese, and that's it, right? You set off your desire, you set off your intention, and you let it go. This is what I want. I'm not worried when it's going to come there. I know it is. I don't know when. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. Am I doubting that the hamburger is going to come out? It's going to come out. It's going to come out. It's going to come out when it comes out. That's the same way you have to look at your goals. I want this goal. I don't exactly know how I'm going to get it. But it's okay. It doesn't matter anyways. Because what I'm doing now, the how will come at the right time, with the right person, at the right situation. You have to have a feeling of positive expectation of your goal. So you feel good about your goal. Not bad. Not the not having. Right? So this is your emotional guidance scale. This is very, very, very useful because with change, the first thing that you have to know is awareness. Where am I right now? How do I feel right now? We're so busy external and chaos in a chaotic environment that we're not even in touch with ourselves. So that's why meditation is so powerful, because it's time you spend with yourself to get grounded, to get centered. Like yesterday, I went to the beach because I had all this crazy chaos in my mind. First of all, motion. Get yourself into motion. Change your environment, because your environment influences your mind. If you're feeling guilt, unworthiness, jealousy, this is the absolute bottom, the worst that you can feel. This is victim. This is blame. This is grief and depression. This is when you have no control. You have no power. How do you get from that to joy, empowerment, freedom, love, appreciation? This is where the books get wrong. This is where the gurus get it wrong. You can't go from doubt, depression to love. And I'm following this stuff. I'm writing down my 10 things I'm grateful for. And it's not working. It's not working because you can't go from this to this. Being grateful is not going to work if you're freaking jealous, if you're in guilt. So you have to go one step at a time. It's a process. And as you can see, you see how it's a spiral? It's a spiral because one thought leads to the next thought. Like attracts like. Neurons that fire together, wire together. So you have to have awareness. Where is this thought leading me? Cancel it. It's a self-doubt, cancel it. Cancel that thought. Because it's going to put you in a spiral. And this is a big thing. I'm going to explain in the next slide. It's a pattern that you can break. I'm going to show you a technique how to break the pattern. So if you're in powerlessness, how do you go one step up? How do you get a little bit better? Movement, right. So I'm going to talk about psychology, physiology, because your physiology affects your psychology. But I'm just going to talk on an emotional plane right now. How do you go from absolute depression, a little higher? You got to get pissed. You got to get mad. You got to get absolutely frustrated with the feeling that you have. Because if you're depressed, you got to admit, being angry feels just a little bit better than being depressed. Because now you have a little bit of sense of control. You see what you did? There's a little switch there. So whenever you're feeling this, you know what? It's okay. I want to prove this person. I want to do this. Find a reason to get a little bit mad. Because that's going to take you out of the hole. From the hole, what's it going to do? If you're depressed and this market's doing this and it's doing, you're not doing anything, right? You're not taking any actions. You're not moving. You're not making your calls because you feel like shit. The moment you get pissed, I want to prove this person. I want to show them. You get on the phone. You just took action, right? So it's a matter of one at a time. And then it can totally change in a day. But you have to change your thoughts. Because discouragement goes to hopefulness. It goes to boredom, neutrality, optimism, positive expectation, enthusiasm, passion, joy. Because the highest form of human consciousness is in a state of love. Why do all the religious scriptures talk about love? Forgiveness. Jesus talks about forgiving your enemies. You have to live in this state at all times. How do I live in this state at all times? You have to change your programming.
Ryan, I have a question.
Yeah.
Going back to the other slide, is it possible to go from the fear, grief, depression state to snap into appreciation and love?
It's too big. Have you done it?
I mean, for me, yes.
Okay.
I mean, like I usually tend to catch myself in this fearful state of, oh my God, this is happening, and this, and what the hell, and this, and then before you know it, I'm a victim.
Right.
And then right away, I'm like, okay, what are 3 things that I'm grateful for right now?
Yeah.
And I start going into my grateful ways of being. And
Correct.
Before you know it, I'm in this grateful.
A person that has zero experience with it, they have to use the scale. But if you're familiar with taking your focus and shifting it to where you know where you want to be, because you know what it's like to feel grateful, right? You know that feeling. A lot of people are not familiar with that feeling. They don't know how to get there. So it depends where you're at in your experience. So it does work, for sure. And if you do this enough, you're going to be like a machine. It's going to be the most empowering thing ever. Because when you're feeling this way, I just got to shift my focus. What am I focused on? Oh, I'm focused on this deal falling apart and this person not doing this thing. Okay, just cancel that. Let me focus on what I want. Let me feel it. Okay. Being present is probably the most powerful state that you can be in. Because when you're present, you're not focused on the future. That's anxiety. When you're present, you're not focused on the past. That's doubt, fear, and depression. But when you're present, you have a clean slate. You can be here now. Be where your feet are. So this is what Steve was talking about, guys. This is the triad. This is a Tony Robbins. Like, none of this stuff I developed. This is all from all over the place. Step 4, which is something that you can all use now, is your physiology, right? So if everybody wants to stand up right now, we're going to start clapping. We're going to start clapping, and we're going to say some affirmations. You're going to repeat after me, okay? So let's start making some noise. Woo! Say wow. Wow. Say wow. Wow. I feel great.
I feel great.
I feel amazing.
I feel amazing.
I feel good now.
I feel good.
I'm achieving my goals.
I'm achieving my goals.
I'm sexy.
I'm sexy.
I look good.
I look good.
You look good. Turn to the person next to you and say, you look good. You look good. Woo! All right? Okay. You can sit now. So before you're sitting and then after you're sitting, do you guys feel a little bit different?
Yeah.
A little bit?
Yeah. More blood flow in the head.
Yeah. Exactly.
Joy.
Joy. Boom. This is a listening appointment. Let's go. So whenever this is a tool. This is a strategy, right? You got to have these little tools that you can use. Every morning, boom. Do this thing. Get you in a peak state. Start the day with positive momentum. Your physiology impacts your psychology. It shifts your focus. Literally, like Jason, whenever you were feeling bad, what did I tell you to do that one time?
Shift your focus.
Right, but what did you do? I told you to go on a what?
A walk.
Go on a walk. Get out of your state. Get out of your chair. Get off your ass. Move. You got to shift your focus because like working out or just moving, it generates endorphins in your brain, right? That's why working out is so important. You don't have to be a bodybuilder. Just do some stuff that makes you feel good, right? So like everything I do, just feel good. Just feel good about it, you know? Obviously, you're going to get buff, and you're like, okay, it rewards. It's a goal-seeking mechanism. Because check this out. Your physiology, it affects your focus. Now you're focused on something else. You feel different, right? You feel different. Thoughts lead to emotions, which lead to behaviors. This is in psychology. You can look this up. This is very basic psychology 101. So if you're feeling good, you're going to do something about it. You're going to take action. And more action leads to a belief, which leads to attitudes, which leads to your self-image. Because over time, an attitude, right, how you feel right now, that will turn to a state of being. That state of being over time will turn into a personality. You're a depressed person. But it all began with an emotion that was repeated over time. So shift the focus. The power of routine. Who in here has a routine? Who in here has it on their calendar? Who actually follows it 90% of the time? I don't know, you're a machine, okay? Fuck. You guys are all machines up here. So you got to follow it, right? I used to struggle with this so much until I hit this point where I was like, fuck this. I'm tired of getting back on the horse and falling off and this. It's a constant realignment. It takes energy. I'm so pissed off. I got pissed off, and I said, fuck it, I'm done. That's it, period. I am going to do this, whether if I like it or not. Because success is doing the activities that you don't want to do regardless of how you feel. And if you don't feel good, you can change that. Change your state. Change your focus. So when you have a routine, this is very powerful. They're called contracts with yourself. When you promise something to yourself and you do it and you do it again, now you're creating trust with yourself. And that creates confidence. And that goes and communicates to your clients. When you can sit in the front of the table of a client and you can talk to them with absolute conviction and certainty, it's because of you inside. This is a personal mastery game. And when you know you're absolutely certain, because I do what I say, right? And when you tell that to a seller or a client, I do this. They're going to believe you. Because if you don't believe it yourself, no one else is going to believe you. If you don't believe you're the shit, nobody's going to think you're the shit. But if you embody what you want to be before you're there, you're already there. So the execution creates positive momentum. It's a cycle of momentum, right? We all know this. Like in this business, it's a momentum cycle. You get one deal, you feel good. You get another deal, you feel good. And then it starts to build momentum up. But then what happens? We get comfortable. We change our activities, the things that got us there, and we stop doing them. And then our business goes down. And then we get into a negative spiral. And then we get into a funk. And then we go look at, okay, how much can I buy these leads? I stopped doing the calls, yeah. So it's about doing the activities that got you there and keep doing them. Regardless of the circumstance and the results, keep doing the activities that get you there. So here's a big one. Gratitude. Charlie, what are you grateful for right now?
Just to be here with successful people like you guys.
Let's go.
First place,
Let's go.
right?
This is Charlie's my homie right here, by the way. Good guy.
Learning from the best, by the way. This guy is like a bundle of knowledge, seriously. He's my
It is
buddy,
more.
I say that.
Luis, what are you grateful for?
My family,
Boom.
work, my career,
Dang,
my
she.
dogs.
Dang, you didn't say your sister. Dang. Just kidding.
Part of my family.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
My sister, my business partner.
Yeah. Let's go. Steve, what are you grateful for?
Just another day of life, of health, having the opportunity every day to be able to get more business and help families. It's just a blessing to live in a country where we have so many opportunities and it's right in front of us every single day. And we have the good fortune of being in the front lines of that.
Yeah, we're right here. Like, you guys realize how good we have it where we are right now?
Yeah.
There's like people dying, families, like it's insane what's going on out there. And we can make a choice if we want to come into work today or not. And we don't have to worry. You guys realize that power of what we have here is something that you can be grateful for at all times. And when you feel like this, I want to explain a special law. It's a law, like the law of gravity. The law of gratitude. You can't receive more until you're grateful for what you already have now. You can't receive more until you are already grateful for what you have now. Why? But there's like all these crazy people that are assholes and they're successful. Yeah, but that's going to crumble. You want to create a kingdom, it needs to be built on the foundations and principles of gratitude, of love, of integrity, honesty. When you have this foundation and you run your life that way, in all of your areas, you're going to build a fortress that no external situation or event can knock down. It's like Goliath. Let's just say you're a castle, there's little tiny arrows, right? That's life. You're building the fortress. Gratitude and love are the highest forms of human emotion. Close your eyes right now and remember a time in your life, like with family, like maybe it was a kid being born, something with your parents, some moment that you can just feel grateful for. That can make, it can bring a smile to your face. It's okay to smile. Just feel that, like bring yourself in that moment. Hear the sounds that you were hearing then. It feels good. Now think about another moment maybe a sexy moment, a moment of passion, where you just feel like rockets going off, right? Feel that. Yeah. Those are the highest forms of emotion. And if you can start every day like this, in a state of gratitude, in a state of abundance, you can open your eyes. Who feels a little bit better right now? Yeah. Creativity, abundance, and joy, right? Those are the highest forms on the emotional scale. That's when you're creating, you're solving problems. You can't you can't be grateful and fearful at the same time, right? There's no way. You cannot do it. I'm scared of this, but I'm grateful. It's a conflict of interest. So anytime you're feeling a type of way, shift your body, shift your focus to what you're grateful for and to what you want. Because it's about the insides. Because if you can get yourself to feel good, you're more likely to do the things you know you need to do. Has anybody ever had a thought of, I want to quit real estate. This is not working. Ever? Anybody ever felt that? Yeah, when you first started, or I'm not good enough. Am I meant for this? This is your negative wiring. It's okay. Everybody has it. I had it like crazy. If I were number one, I would be number one at it. But I rewired myself. Because these things here, you guys know what this is, right, in your brain, neurons, right? So activities, habits, and emotions, they're all tied together. You tie an emotion to an activity, and your brain rewards that activity with dopamine, right? This is called the goal-seeking mechanism in your brain. Because neurons that fire together, wire together. And a lot of people have two highways in their brain. They have one highway to doubt, negative self-talk, scarcity, all these, right? And that's a highway. Because those neurons have been firing and wiring together for years. There's another road. It's a less traveled road for most people. It's, I have enough. I'm grateful. Confidence, certainty, love, joy. That's a dirt road with potholes in it. It's a little bit hard to get down that road. But if you have conscious awareness of your feelings and emotions, and you work that muscle every day and you bring it over, this road will start to wither away, and you'll start to build the 405 freeway during the 2020 pandemic. Smooth sailing, right? But it takes constant realignment, and it doesn't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes years. It takes years. It can take months. Who knows? The time doesn't matter. But it's as long as you do it every day. I put this quote here. The more you do something, the more your brain responds to support that activity. Let me explain. Let's say you wake up and you go to the gym in the morning. You do it once. Oh, that feels good. I woke up a little bit late, but I got in the gym. Feels good. Dopamine. There's a chemical in our brain that rewards activities and behaviors. We're goal-seeking beings. Sigmund Freud, there's something in our brain, it's called the id. It's our ego. Our ego is good. Our ego, it seeks to accomplish and conquer, right? So the more you do of something, the easier it becomes. There's always a phase on doing activities where it's hard, it sucks, I'm not good, I don't want to do this anymore. That's called the unconscious competence phase. There's different levels of competence. First, you don't know that you don't know. You don't know. You're trying a new thing, you're confident, and then you find out that you don't know shit. Now you're consciously incompetent. Now you know that you don't know. And this is the path of the uphill battle, where you're learning and you're implementing and you're doing this and you're cooking and you can fuck up and you do better. This is your conscious competence phase. Now the point where you know that you're good and you do know what you do know, that's your conscious competence phase. This is your path to mastery. Like if you go to Tiger Woods and you ask him, how do you hit a birdie like that? How do you do that? What will he say? He'll be like, I don't know, I just do it. You know, because he's done so many reps, the 10,000 hours, that he's unconsciously competent. And that's the path we're all going through. Just know that when you're feeling that sense of, I don't know enough, you're in the conscious competence phase. You're building it until you're unconsciously competent. There's a guy, he's called Dr. Joe Dispenza. He goes very deep into the neurons firing and wiring together. Here's a bunch of great meditations I can send to you guys. I only have a couple more slides. These are also very important. This is from childhood. This stuff, everything in our life today is a reflection of the person who we think we are. All of our habits, our activities, the money in our bank account is a reflection of what we think we deserve. You only get what you think you deserve. You only get who you think you are. You only do the activities that you're in alignment with. Alignment's a big word. Because if you're doing activities that are out of alignment with who you are or who you think you are, you're going to stop. And that's why the Biggest Loser, you know, that fat loss show, why do 95% of those people become fat again? Because they never changed the internal state. They still identify, I'm this person. Do you see this? This fit body is out of alignment. It's uncomfortable. This is not me. But once you get to a place where this is not me, I am a healthy person. I am a person who prospects every day. That's it, period. You're going to do it because this is your self-belief. And your self-beliefs influence your reality because it's like you don't do it, you just do it. This is what I do, right? All of your actions, feelings, behaviors, even your abilities are always consistent with the self-image. Sigmund Freud, this is what I was telling you about the id, who you think you are. And if you don't even know, you have awareness, remember? Awareness is first. In short, you will act like the sort of person you conceive yourself to believe. So this book is called Psycho-Cybernetics. And it goes into goal seeking. Our brains, there's something called the automatic goal seeking mechanism. When you set a goal and you put the desire out there, it's a little bit rocky. Say, you guys know how we got to the moon, right? Right, we shot, we're going to have a, so allegedly how we went to the moon, right?
Win the race.
Right? The rocket, what percentage of the time was the rocket off course on the way to the moon? 96% of the time, the rocket was off course, but it got there. So how do you relate this to your life? You have a goal, but you're going to be fucking up most of the time. But it's about having the goal. You're going to go here, realign, 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 realign. And it's constant course correction. Those little thrusters that are, that's what we're doing. We're creating the life that we want. And it's not a straight line of success. It's messy. Sometimes you have to go left, you have to go down here, you have to go over here to get it over here. It's a freaking huge, hairy ball of confusion. But on the other end is what creates the life you want. How many of you guys ever self-sabotage yourself before? Right? Let's clap for self-sabotage. Yeah. Why do we do this? Why? Imposter syndrome. Right?
Is it in the comfort zone?
Comfort zone? Yeah. So Ed Milet talks about your degrees that you're burning at. What do I mean by this? Oh, that was cool. All right. So let's say you make $375,000 when you've never made more than $50,000, right? 375. And this happened in 1 year. You're so obsessed on the activities that got you here that you got this result. But then now you're here. and you go spend your money on stupid shit. You go on vacations, you go to Vegas, you do this. Let me tell you something. There's no difference between this guy and the guy that wins the lottery for $1 billion and ends up broke again.
We're dead.
Or dead. What happens? Money is energy. Money is a result of the internal. He never changed the inside of who he thinks he is. And the moment, no more? All right, we'll just go right here. So the moment you're burning at 50 degrees, right? Right? You're just barely getting by. And then all of a sudden, your life is burning at 103. You're going crazy. You're making so much money you never, subconsciously, if you never became the person that this person, the beliefs that this person has, you're going to self-sabotage yourself. You're going to do things, you're like, well, why did I do that? You don't even think about it because you didn't change the image of yourself. I don't deserve it. I'm not good enough for this. This feels unfamiliar. So before you're the person you want to be, you have to be the person you want to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You have to get there before you get there. So you have to shift the image of who you are in your mind before you get there. Because once you get there, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be. Cool. What's the next step? I got to the million. How do we get to 100 million? It's not a matter of how. It's a matter of who I need to become in the process, right? Whoever's been cut off in traffic before. Yeah. What do you guys do when someone cuts you off?
Not anymore. I just let them go.
You let them go.
Yeah, they probably have to die.
Yeah. Bye.
God bless you.
So the life that you have is a result of the story that you're telling yourself. What you deserve. Who I am. Let me give you an example of getting cut off in traffic. You have an event. You're driving. Someone cuts you off. There's going to be two different people here. And you're like, this mother, right? Cuts you off, and you almost hit a wall. Holy shit. I feel bad. Forget this guy. I'm pissed off. I get to work. Man, all these people are crazy in this city. I hate people. Man, I hate people. You go to make phone calls, and you're in this state. Boom, making phone calls. Someone tells you off. Yeah, you see? Freaking people are assholes. Confirmation bias. You have a deal, and there's a problem that comes along. Bless you. There's a problem that you have an opportunity that comes along to solve, right? The guy is mad, and you're like, no, fuck you. And you go back and forth till it falls apart. Now you had a bad day, right? What do most people do? They go to bed thinking about that shit that happened yesterday, and they wake up, and they remember what happened yesterday. And then now they feel bad again. And now someone cuts them off or something else happens, and then they feel bad again. It's a cycle. But what about someone cuts you off? Boom. Like they're driving like at least 100, and you're driving like 65. You're like, dude, are they having a baby? Like, what's going on? Something must be. I'm going to pray for them. I hope that whatever they're going through is going to be okay, and I'm glad that I'm not in that situation. So you move on. You get to work. You make a phone call. Ring, ring. Hey, how are you today? Oh, someone was driving crazy this morning. Oh, by the way, I'm calling because, I sold a home in your neighborhood, and I was typically wanting to call the neighbors because a home sells shortly after that. Would you guys be curious about a home valuation? Oh, yeah, we've actually been thinking about it. Okay, cool. Yeah, people are good. I like people. People are nice. People, I'm grateful. Thank you. Boom. You just had a good day. You set an appointment. Same situation, totally different outcomes, right? So it's about how you react to situations in your life. It's not about what happens to you. It's about how you choose to respond to the things that happen to you. And let me tell you guys, one thing that you can tweak is time. The time between your reaction and the event. Something happens, just take a step back. Let me get my sea legs. All right, what's going on here? Or something happens, oh my God, blah, 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 and then all this shit falls apart. Just take a step back, slow down. It doesn't have to happen right away. Wait, sleep on it. Oh, I need to know now. It's okay, tomorrow. Can I let you know tomorrow? Okay, cool. So the time between response and event, take a second. But this society is so fast. Do it now, respond now, act now, like this, buy this shit, freaking da-da-da. And all of a sudden you're like, I want to freaking run away. Right? Yes, because this society is not grounded. So if the society is not grounded, you become grounded to where you're a rock. And there's nothing in your external world that can sway you because you're grounded. Imagine walking through the world where it doesn't matter what happens. You got chaos, guns, freaking, and you're just walking. How you doing? Hey. It's okay. It's all going to work out. It's about mastering your state. The last step to success and happiness, and I'm not saying that I'm a guru of success and happiness. I'm just on the path, just like everybody else here is on a path to what they want. But this is one of the most powerful things that you can focus on, is managing your expectations and being free of the outcome. I want it, but not that bad. You know what? I want it, but it's okay if it doesn't happen. I want $1 million. I want it, like, I'm almost there. I'm at like 785. And if I don't hit it by the end of the year, that's okay. But this is what I want. I really want a relationship. I need it to feel happy. No. Now you're putting your sense of well-being into something external from you, and that's a hole that will never be filled. Any goal, any material item, any relationship, any human, any event. And that's where people go wrong. They have a hole inside that's not filled, and they keep trying to fill it from the external materialistic world. They want you to live this way because it keeps you down. Why shouldn't you feel joy, bliss, love, contentment, gratitude, abundance, success now? Feel it now. Because once you get that success that you're after, there's just going to be another level to it, and you're going to feel like more shit. Because you're going to get that thing, you're going to get the Rolex, you're going to get the G63, and then you're like, what the fuck? I thought this was going to make me feel good. And then it makes you feel worse. So all these shiny things, the cars, the success, this, doesn't matter. But it's nice to have. Just like your goals. You don't need it, but it'll be nice to have. So it's all about the story you guys tell yourself. Be in a peak state every day, and you're in control of your life. I'm done. There's papers on your desks. Some are going to be passed out. This is an exercise for you guys. I don't care if you do it, but do it. Take some. This is first defining you. Don't write it here, because you're going to want to do 1 page at least per question. Use this as a workbook. What do I want? First, I want you guys to define what you don't want. This is an emotional exercise. I want you to feel something from this. What am I going to stand for? What are my values? How am I going to show up every day? Am I going to keep my commitments? Am I going to forgive people? Am I going to love people no matter what? Am I going, right? How are you going to show up every day? What am I going to build? What's the dream? What's the dream? From there, put it on 1 piece of paper. After you go all in depth and in detail, write it on 1 piece of paper. And that's going to be your master plan. And you're going to put that on your freaking wall. You're going to put that in your bathroom mirror. And you're going to look at it every day. And you're going to feel it. And you're going to freaking visualize yourself being that person you want to be. And you're going to be that person. You're going to show up like that person every day. You're going to show up like that successful top, whatever you want to be every day. You might not have the external, but you're going to do that work. And in 6 months from now, if you do this every day, and if you don't do it every day and you fuck up a little bit, it's all right. I'll be a little mad at you, but do it anyways. 6 months from now, you'll be a different human being. So let's all be good human beings together, and let's grow together. Because the most powerful force in the universe is a mastermind alliance between like-minded individuals that are sharing a common goal, a common good. So let's go.